Ninebekunene. Niyena hlula libombo ngokuhlehletela. Sibonga inkosi uSobhuza wesibili namhlanje. Ulomabanza imitile emncane uyayisibekela. Awuhlambu uyashashabula. Wena washiya tingwenya temkhondvo. Tasala bamba magwebu twayekela. Wena wachawula King George Phesha yap. Wathi oh yes. Wathi miyekeleni umntwana wonakele. Bambeni tandla netinyawo unyathina balibe nabathakathi. Umntwana unatsamanda sekholishi. Uyeke lokho-ke.
It's Africa Month, and even though we are locked down at home and we can't go to festivals, we still celebrate our heritage at home. Hello and welcome to this African-inspired edition of Trendz Travel. I am your host, Nadia Dambuza. Curtains closed and studios shut. The arts industry thrives in public spaces. Now, with the current restrictions, it means artists need to find new ways to reinvent themselves so they can earn a living. We speak to Langa about how he's coping with the pandemic.
Images so revealing of the artists behind them. These are some of the pieces that hang on the walls of Langa's gallery in central Johannesburg. Each piece unique but similar in execution. The common visual motive, that of a house which resembles the home he grew up in, and the subject seemingly emerging from was surrounded with smoke-like aura.
My work is more of a spiritual. It's spiritual, and I also absorb energies. I feel like every time when we go around, we have this. That's why sometimes you feel heavy and stuff. So I take all those energies and put it on my work. My theme is basically focusing on spirituality. It's focusing on identity. It's focusing on also migration, because not migration in terms of people from other countries migrating in the city, but also us as Africans or South Africans moving from your township to here, searching for a living. So for me, a city becomes some kind of another country by itself, where we come to source whatever that we will need to survive.
Those images have, however, taken on a different aesthetic due to COVID-19. Azael now sits in his gallery to breathe life into the images he calls spirits. These spirits, now with masks, find themselves in the confines of their homes with social and economic challenges that come with living through this pandemic.
Funny enough, during this time, most of my pieces made more sense to me and other people. So my focus was home also. If you look at my paintings, I always put a home in my work, so a 4-room house. And that home symbolizes happiness, comfort, protection, and hope. So we all ran from wherever, and we also focused on home now. Home not being the physical, but when all is taken away, we now left with the people that cares about us, and most of the time we don't see it. So we ran back to that space where you wake up, you can have like this huge house, but every time when you sleep, you wish somebody can call and check up on you, and your family, your close friends, and those are the now people or your home that you run to.
With most of his work sold overseas, Azael has had to pack away his artworks until borders are open for him to ship his artworks.
In terms of finances, in the art industry, obviously, we work with people. So without people, we don't have finance, we don't have payments. So my international payments were affected, but locally it was better. So people still invest, because in terms of art, it's literally currency. So people still want to invest in something, and with all these things that were going on, you couldn't invest in stock markets and stuff. So art was something that most of them could invest in. So as I said, it's currency. So if you buy art now, you put it away, you can literally resell, and as the artist go, you can sell it for whatever the amount that the artist will be selling at that time. the clients, you'd be sitting home and you realize that your wall is empty, and it gave you time to go back to Instagrams, look at artists, because even with the communication or the views on Instagrams, it started to grow because everyone is at home and they start to go back to their social medias, check what's going on, because we couldn't reach each other, so we could reach each other through social medias and stuff. So that's where now people started to contact us and start to buy. And so it's literally now having to grow another market and also to gain a new clientele.
Online platforms also changed the artist to think of creative ways to showcase his skills. Azael and 4 other artists also joined in on the Don't Rush challenge to showcase their skills.
As artists, as much as we are artists, we are also part of the community. We have to participate in what the community is doing, not in terms of because of it was viral, but in terms of showing what's going on and that we are also in this and we are happy and would do something. So we did that and it went viral. So we're like, okay, cool. How about we, as there's 5 artists who took part in that, give back. So we worked on paintings that we would be auctioning. So after the auction, all the proceeds will be donated to charity. So we'll divide them amongst 5 homes in Gauteng.
Driven by energy that he encounters from individuals he meets daily, Azael is positive that the power of the human spirit will prosper and mankind will conquer once this pandemic is over.
During this time, we still have us inside, we still have that child inside, so we can still feel like fly and be free in terms of not because we're getting into a space where it's a stressful space, but it's mind over matter. We choose the space that you want to create. So you can choose to be around your family and live in the moment, or you can choose to stress about what you couldn't achieve. And in most cases, yes, some of the things do affect us in a way that you can't ignore them, but it also goes back to you that in a way that what do you want or what do you want to achieve during this time. So rebuilding was another piece I done. So after everything we will rebuild, but rebuilding, it's not in terms of building structures and stuff, but it gives us opportunity to rebuild ourselves.
We know it's been tough, South Africa. To distance yourself from the warmth of KZN's shores, from exploring the majestic mountaintops of the Ukahlamba Drakensberg, to dancing to the beat of Zulu warriors, from enjoying the thrills of ziplining down Africa's longest zipline at Lake Eland, and marveling at our World Heritage Sites and beauty of the Isimanga Liso Wetland Park, to creating unforgettable adventures walking amongst the Big Five. But while you're missing out on these unbelievable experiences for now, distancing yourself from all the things you love to do, remember, KZN will see you soon. Kumbula, iKZN izonibona kungekudala. Believe it.
Everyone across the world is doing what they can to survive, and we would just like to thank everyone that's using their resources to help fight the virus. Now stay tuned as we have more after the break. Born in Botswana, grew up in Zimbabwe, and now resides in South Africa. She has traveled extensively across the continent and always brings something home. We visit her studio in Norwood. Here is Masigo.
Ngabe is a clothing label. I actually like to think about it as more of a lifestyle and a story that I tell through fashion and through fabrics that I collect throughout the continent. The label itself, Bula Nangabe, means speak Nangabe. and it's Sakhalagadi, and Nangabe is a name that I was given by my maternal grandfather, and it means caregiver. And he comes, it's got such a profound meaning because Sakhalagadi is one of the minority languages that are spoken in Botswana, and the Bakhalagadi are in the Kalahari Desert in the southwestern part of Botswana. And in the social strata of how Botswana society is organized, they're right at the bottom of the social strata. But when you think about it, the landscape houses our heritage, our history, and the depth of our indigenous knowledge systems. So by Bula Nangabe, I'm just basically celebrating my cultural heritage and background.
Your love for African prints, when did you realize that you like the bright African print?
Quite early in my life, actually, when I was still in my teens, my early years of university. When I was 19 already, I was known to be the girl at university who would be sporting the bright headscarf. But it also had to do with people who had been a great influence in my life. And these were my sociology lecturers who often had like a beautiful, colorful scarf just thrown over their shoulders. And these were people who were Pan-African. They were traveling the continent and they were always bringing a piece of the continent back. And I recall I would look and say, I want to do that.
Traveling also opened her eyes to how people took pride in their textiles and the stories the fabrics tell. Is there like one specific country or maybe a few that you go to, or do you go all over the continent looking for stuff?
Yeah. So I go all over the continent. Often I am, it would either be that I'm on holiday or I am doing my everyday social justice work. But when I visit a country in the African continent, I don't want to dwell too much or only on what the problems there are. I also want to spend time with local people, understanding their culture, their stories, what makes them, connecting with people at that personal level, at the human level. And there's no better place to do that than the markets.
Of course.
But when I go into the market, I'm not just going in to fill the fabric, pick it up and pay for it. I'm going in there and I'm sitting down and I'm talking to the craftsman or the woman who's selling me this fabric. I want to know the history. I want to know their personal story.
She believes African prints should not be put aside for special occasions like weddings, but should be incorporated in everyday wear.
So here is fabrics that I haven't cut out yet. And we've got the kentes from Ghana, and these are old pieces as well that I can either use to make a coat or a throw, a bed throw, and they're not new pieces. And then I've got the mud cloth from Burkina Faso that I have here. And this mud cloth, I've made some clothes with it, cut up some pieces to make very gorgeous kaftans with the piece. And this is part of my upcycling range of clothing. And the mud cloth is also associated with fertility. It's a cloth that they would give a young mother to wrap herself around with after childbirth or something like that. And it's called the mud cloth because the original way of dyeing this fabric would have been to use mud. Also from Burkina Faso. And they can be used as women would normally use them as wraps. They also use them as throw over scarves. And what I've done with them is with the upcycled line is we've got this linen and indigo top that is quite beautiful, modern, versatile in the sense that you can wear it this way, being the front, or you can flip it around and the shorter part becomes your front. and the longer part becomes a trail in your top.
The indingo can also be used for different things like tablecloths, cushion covers, whatever you like.
These are accessories that are made out of ostrich eggshells. Yeah. Wow. And this is a craft that is so common with the Basara in Botswana and the Bakhalagadi.
These gorgeous bronze pieces are done by a lady in Kenya. Love them. These intricately woven baskets are from northern Ghana and are so versatile you can use them as a shopping bag, magazine holder, or just a statement piece. We are not done. We have so much more after the break, so don't go anywhere. The concept of Africa Month was originally instituted to commemorate the Organization of African Unity. Now we use it as a time just to celebrate Africa and its beautiful people. Eloise sits down with Simpiwe Dana.
With it being Africa Month, we decided to go into the homes of one of South Africa's favorite musicians, Simpiwe Dana, who has just released one of her latest albums, and we were invited to sit down with her and find out all about it. The inside of her home is filled with a plethora of rich, beautiful artworks that seem to represent all the corners of the African continent. Dana's affection for its people, its culture and texture is evident on her walls, and so is her passion and love for music. Which brings us to her awards room.
So in 2006, I won a Best Upcoming Artist Award in Europe, and alongside me, Elton John also won a Lifetime Achievement Award at the same gig. And Miriam Makeba performed there, and Grace Jones also performed there. First time I've ever seen Grace Jones perform, or ever seen her, just generally.
Okay, Simpiwe, it's such an honor to be with you today. So first of all, we'd like to find out from you about this Apple Music thing that you're doing. What is it, and how do you benefit from it?
Well, first of all, it's Africa Month.
Yeah.
And Apple Music asked me to give them like my favorite Africa songs.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. It's my personal playlist of what I play, like when I have a party, or I'm just like, meditating, just with the kids in the kitchen. Because like right now, music plays a very important role in our lives with the lockdown.
Yeah.
Just soothe our spirits and to just like make the day bearable. So yeah, it's like literally my playlist, but my taste in music is very, very different from most. So I think they're hearing a lot of music for the first time that they've never heard before.
Yeah.
And apparently my place is quite popular, which I'm very happy about.
From what's a favorite to the ears to the feast of the eyes, it's not only Dana's unique and eclectic taste in music that has her fans hooked, it's also her bold, unapologetic and self-styled fashion statements.
This is David Tlale, my favorite designer in South Africa. I'm very eclectic and very old school, generally, even whether it comes to color or music or anything. I don't do trends. I don't create trends either. I just do me. I've never been fashionable. And I don't want to be fashionable.
Yeah.
So Bamako is the capital city of Mali, and that is where I went to work with Salif and his band, and I spent almost a month there working with them. For the first time, I did a very personal album. This album is about heartbreak.
Yeah.
It's about one guy, literally, who broke my heart. Broke it into tiny little pieces and then stomped on those little pieces. So the album is about heartbreak and matters of the heart, which I've never done before.
Yes.
and that's why for me it is like I feel I'm so sensitized to how people react to the album as a result of that, because it's about my heart. Yes, like normally I write about, just general experiences when it comes to life, but this one is very, very personal. The album was produced right in that cottage there. For the first time, I worked from home and I was my own sound engineer. I did all of my own vocals, even the backing vocals here at home. I used my MIDI keyboard to create all of the production, and then had a co-producer after, who then accentuated what I had done, but based on my work. Salif Keita is always in my playlist. That's how much I love this guy. Well, I actually had no idea what he thought of my work at all, until because there's also like the language barrier, because he speaks Bambara and French and I speak Xhosa and English. So when he sang what to me is his best song, adding it to my song, that's when I knew, okay, actually guy does respect my creativity. This question is very how do you say which of your kids is your favorite? There's that. Yes. But yes, I do have a favorite, so I will have to say that, and it's Usikonzile, and I fought really hard for it to be the first single on the album, because I thought it would speak to a lot of people. Ndibona isizwe sivuta malanga ke na le mithandazo ayisasebenzi siboniswa izweleli siboniswa izweleli.
I'm gonna bask in the glow of you.
And that's all we have for you on today's show. Do join us again next week, same time, same place. From the hardworking Trendz Travel team, see you next week.